All right. Good evening, internet folks, internet people that just like to be in the internet in general. It's Adrian once again, and today's a slightly foggy, slightly cloudy, slightly smoky Friday. And today's topic, I've been reading a little bit of articles in my free time because that's what you do when you want to try to do YouTube or videos. You do your investigation, you do your research. So I think some topics were kind of captivating. They were kind of interesting towards me. Um, so I'm surprised that they're gonna add skateboarding into the Tokyo Olympics if everything goes on correctly with COVID-19 and all that sort. So Tony Hawk actually was talking about how that's like one step forward on towards the sport of skateboarding. They're gonna add it towards the Tokyo Olympics, and I thought that was really cool. And I think what's interesting about Tony Hawk is that he was the one person that revolutionized and kind of took made skateboarding serious and made it into he kind of ingrained it into the culture. And I was just reading an article about how people say that he's the Michael Jordan to skateboarding, but a lot of people would disagree because not only was he the one that invented most of the sport, but he kind of he put it out there onto the culture. He I don't know. Yeah, he put it out there for the so that people can actually so that it went mainstream. That's what they were trying to say. He made moves that were unseen of. He made he made the name Tony Hawk into a household name. Just by playing his video games. It got a lot of more popularity out of that sort. And I think up to this point, it's a big it's it's a big game changer because he went from you know doing this out of his hobby he wanted to do. And I think that's not everybody, but I just find it inspirational that that someone from the get-go already knew his talents, and he already kind of had his mind focused on where his true passion was, which was skateboarding. And at those times, skateboarding wasn't something to look on too seriously after you were 18, or they saw it as a kid sport. And here we are in 2021, where it could possibly, if everything goes on right with the outbreak and pandemic, it's well, more than likely it's going to happen, but it's going to be into the Olympic Games. It's considered an official sport. So, never let your dreams go, because they're they're the inspiration stories towards, later in life. So props to him. Let me see if I can look up actually a document or something about it. So, yeah. So skateboarding will make its Olympic debut in Tokyo. The competition will be held at Ariake Urban Sports Park. The street skateboarding competition will be held on the 26th and 27th July 2020, but they postponed this. So this is an old article, obviously. The park competition comprises 2 rounds, preliminary and finals. In the preliminary, 20 skaters will compete in 4 heats of 5 skaters. The first 8 skaters from the combined rankings of the heats will progress to the finals. In each round, the skater's best out of 3 45-second runs counts as their final round score. 5 judges uses a 0 to 100 point scale. The highest and lowest scores for each run are dropped, and the remaining 3 scores are averaged to 2 decimal place and resulting in the final run score. So even then, it's amazing that it's out here now. Like it's its own thing. So I'm happy for it. I'm very excited to see that, and kind of actually been wanting to play a skateboarding game actually. That would be cool. Well, we're gonna move on towards our next story. So our next story is with our good old friend Gavin Newsom. So today he signed a new law to help inmate firefighters land jobs in California fire departments. Against a backdrop of a scorched California town, Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday signed a law to let prison inmates who volunteer as firefighters more easily gain employment as fire responders after completing their sentence. The new law, Assembly Bill 2147, will certain Former inmates who worked on hand crew fighting wildfires through the state's conservation camp program applied to have their criminal record clear. That would give them an easier path to getting hired as firefighters as government agencies. This bill will give those prisoners hope of actually getting a job in the profession that they've been trained. Newsom said during a press conference while touring damage caused by the North Complex fire. It will give these future firefighters and emergency personnel a chance by giving them an opportunity to expunge their records, giving them a chance to get their certificate, giving them a chance to potentially get a career ladder coming out of prison. California inmates for decades have been recruited to fight wildfires. The inmates are paid between $2 and $5 a day, plus $1 per hour when they're on a fire, but can earn time off their sentence for their work. The coronavirus outbreak left the program shorthanded this summer when the pandemic took hold in California prisons, prompting restriction on movement. That amplified long-standing criticism of the program, whose opponents like it on the form of slave labor because inmates earn just $1 a day for their labor. Supporters of the new law have said it will provide an avenue for inmates who've learned job skills while on fire front lines to continue this life-saving work once their time is up. Advocates have also argued that if inmates, firefighters have risked their lives while in prison, they should also be allowed the same chance to serve their communities after incarceration. If we really want to bring about change and lower our recidivism rates, we have to ensure that those that are served their sentence have an opportunity for meaningful employment. Bill author and Democratic Assemblyman Elois Reyes San Bernardino wrote on Twitter, "Those that have served on the fire front line deserve a second chance." According to California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation, around 3,100 inmates currently work at 43 fire camps in 27 counties. With about 2,200 considered fire line qualified, the program draws on volunteers and is restricted to inmates with minimal custody status, or only those who have good behavior records. Sexual and arson offenses exclude an inmate from qualifying for the program, as does a history of fleeing or violence. So, there are regulations. There are not just anybody can actually qualify for the program. So that's quite good. And I think it's more of that sense of redemption and, second chance on towards someone's crimes. So obviously they are paying their time, but at the same time, if they're out there, essentially risking their lives, there should be a second chance for people who have made mistakes. And I think that's something very human. People do make mistakes. So I like the idea. I like the plan. And yeah, I give points for Gavin Newsom for something that's quite progressive. And now we're gonna move on to our next news. And this one's really cheerful. I like this story. It was about a man. I think he was a doctor. I think he's a doctor. I'm not too sure. His name is Bryce Clearly. Was at his medical practice. The doctor had just finished up patient notes on his office. Decided to log into newancestry.com. It had been a Christmas gift from his wife. So yeah, I think he's a doctor. And it turns out he has 19 kids, biological kids. From his sperm donating days. Apparently, he when it was his first year of medical school, he decided to go out and start start donating. I mean, initially he was worried about donor children mixing with his biological children to raise, but something about the medical or the place that they were donating, they were going to ship them to the East Coast, and there was only going to be 5 pregnancies. Obviously, that was not the case, as they realized that there was 19 donor children out and about, and they were actually quite close. Some as far as 2 hours, I believe. Yeah, 90 minutes, and so they had produced at least 14 children, not the maximum 5 that he'd been told. So I don't know. It reminds me of that story where I don't know the movie. I forgot what movie it is, but whatever. Anyways, quite of a inspirational story. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of scary actually. Actually putting yourself out there and saying, "Here you go. here are my genetic I guess seeds, and here you go. You know, just disperse them into, you know, the general population. I mean, it's very, you know, that's scary actually. You know, you wait 20 years later, you have 10 kids out and about. I don't know. I'm not too sure about the legalities behind that. I mean, I don't know if there's like, you know, if they can contact you, if they want to, or like, you know, what goes on about that. Do they owe them anything? But I just find it's heartwarming, I guess, just say that, you know, that you've given life and gave someone the opportunity of life, and, you know, someone, you know, he sees you genetically as their father. So, and I think they paid him like $40, which back in the day, pretty decent. You know, it's a paycheck. And I was looking up on the website, and it's a lot of qualifications. I think you have to be pursuing a bachelor's degree between the ages of 18 and 35. What else? You know, previous sexual encounters, your religion, your race, your orientation, your height, your weight, you know, things like that by that style. And it's a lot of requirements. I mean, they're looking for suitable, healthy adults. I mean, with no, like, you know, something, what's the word I'm looking for? Something good into the general population society. So, but the idea of that, you know, that sense of just, you know, having kids without you even knowing them baffles me, you know. But it's a very heartwarming story. I mean, like, you know, they all united maybe, and they all just like saw each other as, you know, relatives biologically, not legally for sure, but like, you know, it's, I don't know how would that work. Like, how would you know, like you know, it said at some point some kids were going to the same school without even noticing they were related. So, you know, they should at least say, hey, so and so is over here. I don't know, like, you know. But it's an interesting story for sure. Well, anyways, besides that, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day. And remember, guys, stay strong. I got this today at I think it was TJ Maxx. It was like $5, but it looked really awesome. And look, got a cute little flag. So, all right, guys, we're gonna call it a day. And yeah, so right now I'm actually doing Among Us and Persona 5. So if anybody wants to catch me up on streaming, more than likely I'm going to be uploading those videos up. And lastly, I'm also going to be doing Super Mario 3D All-Stars when it comes out. So help your boy out. And I think that's going to be it for this video. So remember, guys, stay positive. And that's about it.